Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
We're back here in Hammond. It is a beautiful day. I mean, we have had some oppressively hot days. We've had a few chilly or rainy days here and there. Today is just one of those perfect summer days for some baseball. Happy to have you with us along the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. Today we're booming throughout the region on the Voice of the Region, AM 1230 WJOB. We're available on JED TV, on Region Sports, and as always on the Oilmen Facebook page. Together it's the Oilmen Broadcasting Network. As Brandon, Kevin, and Leo with you here from Hammond, excited to bring you the ball game this afternoon. Final few warm-up tosses are being completed by Max Everard, and you talked about him in the open, Kevin. He is coming off an outstanding performance against these Oilmen that earned him the Northern League Pitcher of the Week that was announced today.
Yeah, and the key for his success in that game was his fastball command. It was electric. He was able to find the inside corners to both right-handed and left-handed hitters. And he's on a stretch here, 3 consecutive starts of over 6 innings pitched, as well as 3 consecutive wins. He might be one of the hottest starters in the Northern League at that point, and it's all capped off by the award he was awarded this morning. And he could be on pace for that Northern League All-Star game in a couple of weeks as well.
Northern League Pitcher of the Week is going to face the Northern League Hitter of the Week to start this ball game. What a fun way to start it as Chris Baker stands in. First pitch is taken for a strike. It comes at 5 o'clock straight up, and we're underway here in Hammond. Baker batting with a count of no balls and 1 strike, hitting a robust .387 after an outstanding week. Here's a swing and a crack to left. That's a base hit. Baker remains locked in, and now it gets by the left fielder, Cano, and Baker's going to try to advance to second base, and he will safely. Baker ropes one into left, and then Cano saw it get by him, and that allows Baker to move up an extra 90 feet, and right off the bat, the Oilmen are runner in scoring position here in the opening inning.
There's Chris Baker picking up where he left off last week, just with a good approach at the plate, not going chasing anything, and just being able to put good contact out to the gaps there. That results on him going for extra bases.
Single E7 as Baker ends up in scoring position right away as he roped one the other way, and then it got by the left fielder Cano to allow him to move up the extra 90 feet. And now Marshall will stand in next, but how about the week he had last week, Leo, for Chris Baker?
That was just a really good week. He had the big game against the Chicago American Giants, and he's just been really seeming to lead the Oilmen all season, taking good at-bats at the plate, being disciplined up there, and just being able to make good contact as well.
First pitch swinging. Here's a crack foul off to the left and out of play, and the count no balls and a strike on Marshall.
Baker had 4 hits in the second game of a doubleheader against the Joliet Generals, then picked it up even more in that game against the American Giants with 5 hits, so 9 hits over 2 games. That's certainly pretty solid for Baker.
Yeah, the 5 hits tied an Oilman record. Here's a pickoff throw to second. Baker slides back in safely, and his performance here in the Northern League has been noticed, and it's not just by those of us that unanimously voted him the player of the week this past week after he had a .750 batting average over the 4 games, but it's also by those at the professional level as Marshall awaits the next pitch. Here's the set from Everard and the offering. Swinging a smash up the middle. That's a base hit. It's ticketed for center field around third, trying to score Baker. Here comes the throw from Fenner, and Baker slides into the plate safely, and advancing to second base on the throw is Marshall. RBI single for David Marshall as Baker barrels into the plate, but he gets up and he's okay, and the Oilmen end up with an early run here against Everard, something they could not accomplish against him in his entire outing the last time they faced off with him.
And Everett did a good job of just throwing strikes last time out against the Oilmen, only walking 2 and being aggressive early in these counts for the Oilmen, putting them on their heels in those at-bats. But now we're seeing the Oilmen taking those good swings early in these counts. That was an 0-1 delivery by Marshall that he just sent right out to center field. So when they're seeing a good pitch early in the counts, they're taking advantage of it and giving it a ride so far.
And while that bothers Everard to give up the RBI single there, he's been preaching all season long to me that, hey, I don't mind if I give up singles. I'd rather have them hit the ball than me walking guys in, which we saw was a big issue on Friday night with that Vikings pitching staff.
Now it's Jason Hodges with a runner at second base and still nobody out. 2 early hits for the Oilmen. Hodges swings and cracks this one foul off to the right and out of play. The count 0-1. But to finish up on Baker, he's going to be in Utah later on this week. He has a tryout coming up on Thursday, June the 30th, and hopes to catch on and play in, I believe it's the Pioneer League, as he has a chance to turn this opportunity with the Oilmen into a professional opportunity. And he is really kind of the poster boy, so to speak, for the new rule this year in the Northern League. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Swinging a broken back ground ball towards second. This is collected by Sanchez, and Armani throws to first in time, advancing to third safely as Marshall. 4-3 the putout goes, and that's the first out here in the opening inning.
That was one where it really looked like Hodges was able to barrel up, make good contact with it, but it shattered the bat a little bit, so it didn't go as far as it could have off the bat, right over to Sanchez at second base, and he was able to make the easy toss, move the base runner over to third base, and recorded the first out for the inning.
That's exactly the response that Everard wants right there. After that RBI single, gets a weak ground ball and lets his defense go to work for him. It's something the Vikings pitching staff loves to do.
Z-Big takes outside for ball one ball and no strikes, but the Northern League rebranding, previously known as the Midwest Collegiate League, kind of going away from the collegiate branding. 1 ball and no strikes on Z-Big. Here's Everard's pitch. This is low and away for a ball on the count 2-0. And that was because they want the opportunity, the league wants the opportunity to give opportunities to players who are trying to further their careers to the professional level that have maybe already graduated from college. And that's the case for Chris Baker. I mean, he graduated high school, I believe, in 2014. Here comes the 2-0 to Z-Big. This is swung on and lifted foul out of play left side, and it's 2-1. So he's a seasoned veteran. He's spent multiple years playing at the college level, and he's going to hopefully have a chance to continue his baseball career, in part thanks to the experience that he's gained in the league so far this season.
That's one of the good things the league offers now, is that these players that don't have the college eligibility anymore can still showcase their skills, show why they're worthy of playing at the next level.
It's a strike on Z-Big, and the count 2-2.
And because we see it sometimes where the players maybe don't get as much reps in college as they might be worthy of, or things don't go their way with injuries and whatnot. So then someone like Baker still has a lot of good baseball left in him, is now being able to display that with the Oilmen here.
Middle infield is back, conceding a run here. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Z-Big. Marshall, the runner at third. Here's the pitch, swinging a line shot to right. This ball's going to be over the head of Bilecki, who misread it initially. Headed towards second base is Z-Big. He's thinking 3. Z-Big trying for third, and the throw toward third is not in time. He dives in headfirst safely. RBI triple Jack Z-Big. Marshall comes in and scores, and the Oilmen have made it a 2-run frame. It's now 2-0 Oilmen here in the opening inning.
It's a hard hit ball out to right field by Z-Big there. A little bit of a misplay by Bilecki. Let Z-Big get off to that good stride. He's one of the taller players on the team, has a long stride, so when he gets running for the corner like that, he can really make that case to like that double into a triple, and that's what he was able to do there.
Yeah, the misplay by Bilecki, you're always taught as an outfielder, first step is always back. His first step was in, thinking that ball was going to sink. We've seen a lot of baseballs in this ballpark die quickly here, whether that be because of the distance or the wind. It just depends on the certain day. Bilecki misreading that ball, and also Everard hung that breaking ball there, allowing Z-Big to get his hands extended that Leo was talking about.
Zarnacki cracks this one to left. Right there is Cano. He gloves it. Z-Big tagging. Here comes the throw toward home. It's not going to be in time. Z-Big comes in and scores on a sac fly by Zarnacki. And I'll tell you what, Everard is fooling no one in this inning. Even the outs have been, for the most part, well-hit balls. And there's 2 down now with 3 in as the Oilmen have leaped out to an early 3-0 lead.
We're seeing the Oilmen put everything in the air, as you mentioned, too. In their game against him last week, it seemed like a lot of contact was on the ground. They were just swinging on top of the ball. Now they're finding a lot of pitches they are able to drive early on.
Here's a swing and a crack off the bat of Clark. It's towards second. Sanchez fields and throws to first in time. But the Oilmen do damage. They score 3 runs on 3 hits and nobody left on base. After a half, it's the Oilmen 3 and the Vikings coming to bat on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back here at Dowling Park in Hammond as we tell you about a very important event coming up this Friday at 7:10 at Oil City Stadium as the Oilmen take on the Lake County Corn Dogs. It is Military Appreciation Night. It's a night to celebrate America and America's pastime by recognizing those who have served for our country. It'll be sponsored by Northwest Indiana Building and Trades Council, and also involved in the evening will be Indiana Fallen Heroes as they are there to pay their respects to those who gave their lives to protect our freedom. It's Military Appreciation Night. You can get your tickets now on NWIOilmen.com. We take it to the bottom of the first. The Oilmen off to a strong start here this afternoon as they have scored 3 in the top of the first inning. Silas Noe has completed his warm-up tosses. His last outing also came a week ago here at Dowling Park. It came in relief. He worked 3 shutout innings, allowing 2 hits, a walk, and struck out 4. Noe for the season, this is his 6th game, but it's his first start of the year. His ERA of 5.06 in 10 2/3 innings, during which he has struck out 14 and walked 9. The 6'4", 160-pound right-hander delivers to Fenner, and it's low for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes.
And when Noe's been at his best, it's been when he's been keeping the walks down. He had the rougher outing against Joliet Generals, only going an inning and 2/3 where he walked 5 on 16. But then he really bounced back well last Monday against these Vikings with those 3 shutout innings you mentioned.
Here's a strike to Fenner, and it's 1-1. Turf playing surface here at Dowling Park, the home of the Vikings now for the 3rd season. Here's the 0-1. Taken for a ball and a count, or that was the 1-1. Now it's 2-1.
And going back to that point about Noe and the walks, he does, with the walk numbers as low as they are, that means he's throwing a lot of hittable pitches.
Here's a foul, 2-2, Kevin.
And what that does is in an offense, it gives you this kind of sign of hope in life, saying, hey, all right, doesn't walk a lot of guys, but that means he's also going to put a lot of hittable pitches that we're going to be able to drive. This Vikings team, a lot of pitch-to-contact hitters. They like to just put the ball in play and toss it over to the next guy.
Here's a swing and a crack foul. And the count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes on Fenner, who's hitting .394. Two and 2 on Fenner. Here's Noe's break even. It's high and in for a ball. Nice snag by Zarnacki. And the count goes full at 3-2.
And with Noe being someone that can pitch for contact, it helps that the Oilmen have one of their better defensive lineups, one of their more regular ones with Cosenza at third, Marshall at short, and then Zebig at first base, some reliable middle infielders for him.
Payoff pitch is inside. Did it get him in the hand? It appears it did, as hit by a pitch was Fenner. And the Vikings will have a base runner here. This was on the hands of Fenner, and he gets nailed. He appears to be okay, and the Vikings work a leadoff free pass via the hit batsman.
And although it was a painful way to start the game for the Vikings, I think they'll appreciate that they're getting their leadoff batters aboard. That's something they didn't really do on Friday night against the Oilmen pitching staff. And you have to credit what Northwest Indiana was able to do Friday night, but good start for them. Now you hand the lineup over to A.J. Taylor and Chris McDevitt, 2 of their best pitch contact hitters, I should say. This is a good start for this Viking team. We'll see if they're able to capitalize and try to chip away at this Oilman lead.
Noe from Waubonsie Community College, a native of Wilmette, Illinois. Here's a pickoff throw to first. 2020 product of New Trier High School. A.J. Taylor standing in to face Noe here. Here's the first pitch, swinging a bouncing ball foul left side, wide of the third base bag, and the count 0-1 on Taylor.
That ball maybe was a couple feet foul. There's a lot of foul territory here at Dowling Park, and so a lot of times when the balls get into the corner, it's not the corners that we normally think about in a ballpark. It's way into foul territory, and it allows for multiple extra bases if you're a batter with speed like Taylor.
Here's the 0-1, swinging a bouncer towards short. This is fielded by Marshall, and he bobbles the ball. This is an E6 as Taylor reaches safely. Marshall had it, but then as he tried to flip towards second base, he lost the handle on it, and everybody's safe. Runners now at first and second, and there's nobody out as the Vikings threaten, thanks to 2 gift base runners here in the opening inning.
That's when the Oilmen are going to have to try to bounce back from, as it looked like Marshall was just trying to make that transition from his glove to his hand there and just completely lost control. That was one where they might have had the time to turn 2, so now it puts them in a tough spot here with the Vikings 3-hitter McDevitt at the plate here with 2 men on, nobody out. They could really try to chip back into this one.
First pitch to McDevitt. He swings and lines this one to left. This is going to get down in front of Clark, and now it bounces past Clark. Coming in to score will be Fenner, and the runners at first and second. RBI single for McDevitt as Fenner comes in and scores from second base. It bounced slightly past Clark, but he was able to recover in time to prevent any advancement from that. So it's the first hit of the day for the Vikings, and it drives in a run, and Southland strikes first, leading it by a 1-0 score.
That's where the Oilmen missed opportunity on that double play directly comes back to hurt them there, as that allowed for a base runner to come in and score, and now they're still chasing the first out of this inning.
Here's the first pitch to Bilecki. It's swung on and lifted in the air. Foul out of play, and the count 0-1. 3-1 now in favor of the Oilmen.
That's just a great piece of hitting by McDevitt. Outside fastball, low and away, and he does a nice job letting his hands do the work and just kind of sitting back on that ball and driving it to that side of the field. He's really shown off that he's able to hit the ball to all parts of the field so far in the early goings of this 2022 season.
Here's the next pitch taken low for a ball. One and one on Bilecki hitting .235. Runners take their leads from first and second. A hit batter, an error, and a hit. Here's a crack out of the reach of a diving Marshall. This is the base hit. Getting the stop sign at third base is Taylor as the throw comes in. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Safe at second, McDevitt, and Anderson a single. Bilecki a single to bring up Anderson with now the bases full of Vikings in a 3-1 game with nobody out here in the first.
After the Oilmen got off to a really good start, now the Vikings are just responding in the same type of fashion, just one after the other. Everybody's making good contact off of Noe. He's throwing strikes, and the Vikings are putting it in play where it's hard for the Oilmen to chase them down.
This is something that they were struggling to do on Friday night. They had these type of opportunities on Friday night. Let's see if they're able to capitalize, because that game, when the Vikings had multiple men on in less than 2 outs, they struggled to get runs across in the early goings of the contest when they fell behind early to Northwest Indiana.
First pitch strike here on Anderson. Anderson made his Viking season debut on Friday night in that game against the Oilmen. He went 1 for 3, and he sits in the number 5 spot in the Viking batting order today. He fouls this one back to the screen. The count 0-2. See if Noe can find a way to get an out without any further damage here. The Oilmen infield would love a double play. The corners might throw home on a ground ball. Or the Oilmen would certainly take a strikeout as Noe is ahead of Anderson. No balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss, and that is strike 3. Noe strikes out Anderson on 3 straight pitches, and that is the first out of the opening inning.
It was big for Noe to get that strikeout there because he was doing pretty much everything right on the mound. He wasn't making a lot of mistakes with these pitches. The Vikings were just putting balls in play against him. And so now for him to finally get that first out can really help him try to move through the rest of this order and try to only keep that 1 spot on the board.
First pitch is a strike on Kroll, and the count 0-1.
I love that he climbed the ladder in that bat. He progressively just kept changing the eye levels on Anderson, finally throwing that high fastball to eliminate the Division I product in Logan Anderson. Great pitching sequence there by both Noe and Zarnacki behind the dish.
Here's the 0-1 to Kroll. Taken low and outside for a ball, and the count 1-1. Big strikeout for the first out of the inning, but you're not out of the woods yet if you're the Oilmen. Still only 1 away with the bases full and a run in. 3-1 in favor of the Oilmen, bottom of the first. Here's a half swing, and it'll be a foul ball lifted onto the stadium concourse area, and the count 1-2.
Still a lot of ground for Noe and the Oilmen to make up here. That's where that botched double play really hurts, as that could have been the 2 outs you're chasing here. But with the bases loaded, you could still try to turn one of those double plays as the force is active anywhere.
1 ball and 2 strikes on Jason Kroll, a .333 hitter. Here's Noe's 2-strike pitch. Swinging a tap foul. He just did stay alive, and we'll do it again, 1-2.
And Jason's done a lot better job of doing that, just keeping alive in these at-bats this past week. He had a really productive week last week, at one point going 5 for 5 in a game against the Crestwood Panthers last Tuesday with multiple RBIs in that contest. He's truly finding himself, and he says that he's finally out of that slump he was going through over the past couple of weeks.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the next offering. Swinging a bouncing ball on the infield. This is going to be misplayed by Marshall again. The shortstop, it gets by him. Now another run's going to try to come in and score, and does. 2 runs score. This game is tied. Taylor and McDevitt both cross the plate. The shortstop, Marshall, saw it go by him again, and he's had a tough inning defensively. And now there are runners at first and second with still only 1 away, and the Vikings have come back to tie the game. E6.
It's a tricky play for Marshall Make, charging in on that one. You see the bases loaded, so you're probably already thinking about where you're going to throw, but then he just wasn't able to quite look that ball in and just watched it sail out in the outfield.
Here's the pitch, swing, and a foul at the plate, and the count 0-1.
And you have to think also, Leo, that McDevitt running down the line at third, even though the ball didn't hit him or he didn't interfere with it, provided almost this moving screen to which Marshall kind of read the ball late, took a weird hop, which you don't say a lot on turf, but it did take a weird hop off the kind of where the lip of the grass traditionally would be on a normal infield.
You see that too, fielding on the turf where you don't have that grass to kind of slow things down. Everything's the same level, so it is kind of odd that it took that hop on him.
Runner from second goes, throw to third is going to be not in time. It's a stolen base. Pitch was a ball, and Bilecki steals third. Holding it first is Kroll. Now runners at first and third, 3 in. Five standing in. Two errors in the inning. Runners at first and third. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss. And now no ahead, no balls, and 2 strikes.
I think we're seeing it in this inning. What makes the Vikings such a threat is they're so deep. They have so many hitters that just make really good contact. And it's put Noe in a tough spot here as he's been throwing a lot of strikes for them.
This is low for a ball, and actually 2-2 now, as was the ball earlier in the count on the play in which Bilecki stole third. Runners at first and third. The Vikings have tied the game in a very eventful first inning. Each team with 3 runs, and we're not done yet. Here comes the 2-2. Runner from first goes. Pitch low for a ball. This is a stolen base as Kroll steals second. And now we go full at 3-2.
Just like that, now the Vikings have 2 runners in scoring position. This could be a huge spot for them. Now that they've tied things up already, they could try to break it open here and take the lead.
3-2 on Fies. Here's the payoff pitch. Taken for strike 3 called. Out on strikes is Fies for the second out of the inning. Both outs have come via the strikeout. Blaze Cano will be the 8th Viking to bat, and he'll bat in a critical spot with runners at second and third. 2 down now, and the ball game tied at 3.
We put that one in a good spot, doing a good job of mixing locations at that at-bat, going inside, then outside, then back outside again. Now he's just trying to get one more out here to try to keep this a tie game and get his bats back up.
Well, actually, Fies has come back up to the plate, so apparently the count was 3-1 before. I noticed that Raleigh Thill did not ring him up, but we had it as 3-2. Here's a swing and a foul back to the screen, and we'll stay full here at 3 balls and 2 strikes.
That was one of the same thing why he just did the normal strike call there, Brandon. And this is an opportunity for Nick Fies, pretty much, even though he didn't think it would be, as a second life in this at-bat in this inning for the Vikings.
3-2. Here comes the payoff pitch. Swinging a little nubber along first. This is going to be picked up by the pitcher, Noe. He'll flip to first, and they get the out as a run comes in and scores. So although he's still retired on the put out at first base, that allows a run to come in, and that is the second out of the inning. And now it's 4-3 in favor of the Vikings. Some of the Oilmen thought the inning was over, but that was only out number 2. So mass chaos here in this inning, but there are 2 down and a runner at third, and the Vikings have taken a 4-3 lead.
And because that was such a slow roller, that really did help the Vikings get that next run across the plate, as it just took such a long time to get out there for Noe to pick up at first base. It stayed fair, and then it came to a complete stop, so that allowed Bilecki to get in there basically uncontested.
And also, it almost seemed like there was some miscommunication there between Noe and Zebek of who was going to field and cover the bag in that situation. They were lucky that it was just a weak little ground ball, and Fies didn't have the fastest break because he didn't know where that ball was off the bat.
Cano takes a strike, and the count 0-1. Noe to Cano. This is swung on and fouled out of play right side, and the count 0-2. The Vikings have taken the lead in a long and bizarre bottom of the first. Here comes the 0-2. This is high for a ball, 1-2. Noe trying to limit the damage to the 4 runs, but there were 2 errors. Here's the 1-2. This is a bouncing ball toward third. Waiting back on it is Cosenza. His throw to first is going to be not in time. Now it gets by, and advancing to second safely is Cano. This is going to be tough to get him at first base, even had that throw been on line, as Cano's safe at first, and then he advances to second, as there will be certainly the third Oilman error of the inning there, as that allows Cano to move up 90 feet after he legs that out to first, and the inning keeps on going. It's now 5-3 Southland.
I think because of the way that it was kind of chopped over to Cosenza at third base, he had to move into foul territory to try to set and throw, that he was probably going to be safe anyway if he threw it, that he kind of had to rush through then his throw, and that wild throw then helped pull him over to second base.
It did help Cano. Great speed down the line. Probably one of the faster Southland Vikings on the roster. Probably him and Fenner. If you had a 40-yard dash race, those guys would be probably the top 2 if you compete with the entire Vikings. And this is an inning that was very reminiscent of the Southland Vikings of a week ago, or perhaps 2 weeks ago, when they were on that 6-game winning streak of theirs. This is exactly what they need, just to build some confidence back, even if the game doesn't go the rest of the way tonight. This is just a good confidence-building inning moving forward.
You have to like that, where you give up the 3 spot in the top half, then you come right back and get 5 quick runs, taking advantage of some errors too, but just making a lot of contact too.
Balls and a strike on Sanchez. Here's the 0-1. This is a swing and a little loop on the right side of the infield. Fielded on a hop by Z-Big. He feeds a covering no, and the inning ends after the 3-1 putout, but not before big-time damage done, as Southland comes back with 5 runs, sending 9 men to the plate in the bottom of the first inning. They do it on 2 hits and leave 1, and there were 3 Oilman errors, also a walk and a hit batter in that inning. After 1, it's Southland in front of the Oilmen by a 5-3 score on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Back at Dowling Park in Hammond, a bizarre first inning. Both teams having defensive mishaps as the Vikings committed an error that helped lead to the Oilmen rally in the top of the first. The Oilmen 3 miscues, and they allow 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning, and it's 5-3 Vikings after 1 inning of play. And after an elongated first inning, Kevin, the job of Everard here as he takes the mound again is to try to calm things down, and suddenly your team has the lead for you after a bizarre first inning.
That is the greatest feeling in the world as a pitcher, when you go out and you don't have your best outing per se. Although you're throwing a lot of strikes, you're getting hit around the ballpark a lot. Now you come back in the dugout, you get probably about a 10 or 15-minute rest, and you see your offense put up 5 runs for you. It gets you a lot more fired up. You're a lot more motivated. You want to go out and dominate then from that point on.
First pitch here low for a ball, and the count 1 ball and no strikes on Joe Cosenza. And the Oilman offense has to go back to work right away, Leo, after a 3-run first inning. They find themselves trailing by a 5-3 score. Here's the 1-0. It's a strike, and it's 1-1.
And we'll see if Everard makes any adjustments on the mound, because the Oilmen were certainly seeing him well in the top of the first inning, putting a lot of contact on the ball, not a lot of swing and miss stuff. So now we'll see if he changes the way he throws them, and we'll see if then in turn the Oilmen have to adjust their approach.
This is taken inside for a ball, 2 balls and a strike on Cosenza.
So it was really working for the Oilmen. Bats was swinging on those first 2 to 3 pitches against Everard. They were putting a lot in play off of those. They didn't fall behind in too many counts either.
Here's the 2-1. Low and outside for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike.
And something I've already noticed right away is that despite Cosenza being up 3 on the count, they're not being as aggressive. The Oilmen hitters, at least Cosenza, has not been aggressive as the first 6 guys who stepped up to the plate in that first inning for the Oilmen.
3-1 is cracked to deep left off the bat of Cosenza, curling and foul. Foul by a few feet. This was a well-struck ball down the left field line. We go full at 3-2.
And we've seen Cosenza take one out of the park here. That was against the Panthers here, but that one was pretty well hit. That could have dropped in a good spot and resulted in extra bases, but now it makes the count full for him, and now Everard is within range of getting out of this at-bat.
That's the second time in 2 innings which Everard has hung a breaking ball with 2 strikes, or to make it 2 strikes, just to say now. So something to keep your eye on throughout the course of this contest is how his breaking ball is moving.
Here's the payoff pitch to Cosenza. Low and outside for ball 4. It's a leadoff walk. The Oilmen have the leadoff man on here to begin inning number 2.
It was a good job by Cosenza working the long at-bat there. Didn't really chase anything outside the zone. Both of the strikes in that at-bat, one was swinging, one was looking, but he didn't go helping Everard there by chasing anything there.
It'll be Sebastian Cabeza to bat for the first time today. Happy to have you along here on the Oilman Broadcasting Network. Here's a pickoff throw to first, not in time, as we've had an eventful opening inning. 3 runs for the Oilmen in the top of the first, 5 for Southland in the bottom of the first, and now a leadoff base runner to begin the top of inning number 2.
And for everybody, the mentality is just to calm down now and really reset. And you had that long inning on the bench after your team puts up 5 runs. You go out and walk the leadoff matter. You just got to focus on just letting the Oilmen put the ball in play. Sure, you're going to give up some hard contact here and there, but let your defense go to work for you.
This is taken for a strike called on Cabeza in the count 0-1. Max Everard, a 3-2 record, 222 his earned run average. He has pitched 6 games and made 3 starts prior to today, 28 1/3 innings. He struck out 25 and walked 10. We have referenced his outing against the Oilmen a week ago today, right here at Dowling Park. Here's the 0-1. It's a strike, and he's ahead here. No balls and 2 strikes after a walk a moment ago. But that outing, 7 shutout innings, a 3-hit ball, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts. And again, it earned him Northern League Pitcher of the Week honors that were announced earlier this morning. 2 strikes here on Sebastian, who's hitting 182. Long set, and the 2-strike pitch. High and outside for a ball. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
His first 2 strikes, he really did a good job of setting up for that location on the outside, lower part of the strike zone. Kroll did a good job of keeping his glove in a position where that would be caught for a strike, and Cabeza didn't even offer either of those.
1-2 here. Lead at first for Cosenza. Everard's pitch to Cabeza. Cosenza bluffs, pitch high and in for a ball. It appeared that he was taking off for a moment, but he gets back to the bag at first.
And for Everard, that's now back-to-back mislocations and 3rd consecutive breaking ball that he's missed. He really has to work on finishing and following through. That's the key to having a great breaking ball, is making sure you're completely following through and not just kind of cocking back your arm every time you release it.
This is swung on and cracked, foul down the left field line. We have the headset on, but I thought I heard from the Viking dugout, just throw it right down the middle. If you're a hitter, that really gives you a pretty good idea what they're trying to do.
That's a bold strategy, Brandon. We'll see how it works out for him.
It's before that last pitch, and Cabeza did get pretty good wood on it, but he fouled it off. 2-2. Here's the break even. This is low and outside for a ball. Now we go full at 3-2.
That one just turned away from the plate a little bit too early there. Cabeza laid off it. We've seen him, he's doing a good job of laying off the stuff that goes away from the plate there, as that's where it looks like Everard's been trying a lot for in this at-bat.
Full count pitch, another deep count. Cosenza working a walk a moment ago. Here's the payoff to Cabeza with Cosenza running. This is swung on and lifted in the air, foul, over and running out of room is the first baseman McDevitt, and we'll do it again, 3-2.
I think maybe he swung at ball 4. That pitch was kind of up towards the top half of the zone, right around the letters. I know you have to fight off that pitch there because it's 3-2 and the runner was going, but see if Everard goes back to that same spot, expecting a swing and miss there, and we'll see what Cabeza decides to do this time. But that was definitely a borderline pitch that he just swung at for sure.
Everard, 6'2", 195, a Hebron, Indiana native, a former Hebron Hawk. Plays at Calumet College of St. Joseph's, and he delivers. Well, and first he steps off and bluffs a pickoff move to first. 6'2", 195, the right-hander. Hebron has had some good years in baseball. Small school in the Porter County Conference. And the runner goes again. Here's the payoff pitch, taken low and in for ball 4. Back-to-back walks to begin this second inning.
Those were 2 long at-bats, too, from Cosenza and Cabeza. They're working Everard first inning and throw a lot of pitches in this inning. So that's one of the things the Oilmen have tried to improve upon this season, was taking more pitches from these starters to get to the bullpen earlier in the games, and that seems to be working so far here against Everard.
Rimkiss will stand in next. Hope you guys are comfortable. We might be here a while today. How much daylight do we have? Here comes the first pitch on the way to Rimkiss. Swinging a ground ball towards short, and they go to second one. The relay throw to first is going to be a double play. Right as I say that, 2 outs on 1 play. That's a big one for the Vikings. Taylor to Sanchez to McDevitt, 6-4-3, and now 2 down and a runner at third. Chris Baker coming up next. Chris Baker hitting .387. He's 4th in the Northern League in batting average. He's among the league leaders in a variety of categories. Tied for the league lead in doubles with 8. Tied for second in RBIs with 15. First pitch here is a strike, and it's 0-1. Tied for 8th in walks with 14. 6th in runs scored with 18. You name a category, and he's probably in the top 10 in the Northern League.
And this is a big at-bat for both Baker and for Everard. I'll hold off here.
0-1 is outside, Kevin.
Because if you're Everard, to get off the mound and you're able to get Baker out in this at-bat, you still hold that 2-run lead. You're able to work out of an inning which you allow the first 2 runs to the board. But if you're Baker, an opportunity to continue your hot streak right now and bring in a run that would put you the tying run on base. This is a big pitch coming in, a big at-bat.
This is low for a ball. Nice job by Kroll to keep it in front of him in the count 2-1.
And while that double play might have taken some of the wind out of the Oilmen's sails there, they're still in a position to try to get another run here. Just try to chip back into it, get Baker on base, and bring Marshall up, who's been seeing the ball pretty well as of late, too.
2 balls and a strike on Chris Baker. Had a base hit and scored a run his first time. Takes a strike call, and we go even at 2-2. 2 outs in the inning. Big run at third. The Oilmen down 5-3. They would like to at least put up 1 in this inning. A total of 8 runs and a total of 4 errors between the 2 teams in the first inning. Now time call, and delivering one that would have been right down the middle was Everard. As Baker backs away. Baker looking for his 16th run batted in. Now that he's been out of the leadoff spot, it's always a little more challenging to drive in runs out of the leadoff spot in the order, but he has a chance here to do it. Here's the 2-2. He swings and fouls it off, and we'll do it again.
It's a great job by Baker to fight that ball off. A breaking ball in on the hands, and he was just able to get around to it and just able to fight that one off, try to see another pitch, try to live another day, and that's just going back to that point earlier about how the Oilmen have been so good at getting to Everard and extending these at-bats and eventually working walks. You're getting a lot more hittable pitches.
2-2 now on Chris Baker, here, and the break even. Swinging a crack to center. This ball's going to get down, base hit. It's a 5-4 game. RBI single to center for Baker. He's 2 for 2 as he continues his torrid stretch. He has been just about unstoppable at the plate over the last week or so, and he drives in Cosenza here to make it 5-4 in favor of Southland.
That's his 16th run batted in of the season. For someone you mentioned that's normally batting on a leadoff spot, that speaks about how well he produces with runners on base later in these games. It helps that the Oilmen have been doing a good job as of late of getting those 7, 8, 9 hitters on base to set up Baker pretty well.
Now it's Marshall, who singled and scored his first time. Takes outside for ball 1.
That was a fastball that he just kind of drove right away to center field, interested there to see the fastball rather than a breaking ball. We've seen Everard go to a lot of that with 2 strikes, especially in like 2-2 counts like he did right there to Baker. And now he's got to fight again with all the momentum on his side. Northwest Indiana just grabbed a little bit back right there with that RBI single from Baker.
Low and in here to Marshall, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. You're right. After the double play, really fired up the Vikings, and they had scored 5 in the last inning. That felt like a crucial plate appearance in terms of momentum, with it kind of hanging in the balance one way or the other. And Baker with the single swings some momentum back in the Oilmen favor, and now the count 2-0 on Marshall as Everard has fallen behind. This paints the outer portion. It's 2-1.
This is a good player to have follow up Chris Baker, as David Marshall has 9 or now 10 RBIs with 1 earlier in this game on the season, but he's been swinging a good bat out of the 2 spot there, and it helps when you normally have Chris Baker on base for him to try to get him in motion here.
Randy runs, as Leo alluded to. Pitch is taken for strike 2 called, but Baker steals second base. So now the count 2-2 on Marshall. Give Baker a steal, and a base hit could tie this game.
And even with 2 outs in the inning, Baker was not afraid to try to steal a base there. He just has been playing with so much confidence as of late. You can tell he was just off for the races right when that one started, and there wasn't even a threat as it popped away from the glove of the catcher.
2-2. Let's see if Marshall can tie this game with a base hit right here. Here's the break-even pitch. Swing and a foul at the plate. And we'll do it again, 2-2. He just did get a piece.
I don't know how he was able to get a piece of that whatsoever. That ball was maybe an inch off the ground when it crossed home plate. But, hey, credit to Marshall and those long arms of him in the left-hander batter's box, just able to fight off that Everard breaking ball. And the pattern here for Max has been fastball, breaking ball, fastball, breaking ball. So we'll see if he goes to that fastball again. And then last time he threw one, Baker cranked it to center field.
This is taken just outside for a ball. Good take, and we go full at 3-2. 2 outs, and the runner at second base, Baker, with good speed. Marshall trying to drive him in. 5-4 Vikings. We're in the top of the second inning. It's already been a seesaw battle between these 2 teams. A couple of old rivals playing for the 99th time here today. Here's the payoff pitch. It's taken for ball 4. He walked him.
Just another long at-bat from the Oilmen. That's what's been working for them this inning against Everard. We saw Cosenza and Cabeza with back-to-back walks. Then Marshall was able to go to distance against him. That sets up Jason Hodges in a really good spot, 2 men on. Hodges, another player we've seen with the Oilmen, can really drive the ball when he gets a hold of one.
Let's see if Hodges can come through. Runners at first and second, 2 down in the inning, 5-4 Vikings. Everard has not been as sharp as he was when the Oilmen and Vikings matched up a week ago. Here's the first pitch. Swung on and lifted in the air. It's right side. McDevitt battling the sun. The first baseman in foul territory makes the catch, and the inning ends. But the Oilmen do push across a run to make it a 1-run game. They do it on 1 hit and leave 2. We've played an inning and a half. It's Southland 5 and the Oilmen 4 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Back here at Dowling Park, it's been a bit of a slow ball game so far as both teams have been active offensively. 5-4 in favor of Southland. Noe completing his final warm-up tosses prior to the bottom of the second inning commencing. And Leo, at this point, it's trying to bounce back. And the Oilmen, a little bit of a wobbly inning defensively, but Noe did also walk one and hit one and allow a few hits. So we'll see if he can bounce back and perhaps put a 0 on the board here in the second.
And for Noe, looking at it, those walks and the hit by pitch really didn't come until, well, the Fenner hit by pitch was the leadoff batter, but most of the damage came when there was runners already on base, the errors, and then the walk. So for Noe, he just has to continue to throw strikes early in counts, not let those base runners on, and just try to get into his approach, because really it was that botched double play and then another error that unraveled things for the Oilmen in that inning. So it's those self-inflicted mistakes that they have to try to avoid here.
Kyle Fenner leads off the inning for Southland. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run in the first inning, and he takes inside for ball one.
And that's the good thing if you're looking at this from a Vikings perspective is now, sure, you gave it the run, but you had the top of the order coming up in the second inning already. That's just how productive your team was in that first inning. Just putting the ball in play, and the old saying goes, good things happen when you put the ball in play, and that's what the Vikings were able to do right there, as Leo referenced the errors and the couple of singles that Southland were able to capture in that bottom of the first.
Fenner takes a strike, and it's 1-1. This is low for a ball. The last game these two teams played, both teams last played on Friday night when they matched up against each other at Oil City Stadium. Both teams were scheduled to play on Saturday, but some rain wreaked havoc on that. This is swung on and popped up. Cosenza will watch this one go foul out of play, and it's 2-2, much to the disappointment of many involved. The rain passed through both Crown Point and Whiting on Saturday and caused the cancellation of both games. And so the teams had a scheduled off day yesterday, and now they're back at it, facing one another here today, and they will meet again tomorrow night at Oil City Stadium. Here's the 2-2 to Fenner. It's taken for ball three. We go full, 3-2.
So, Brandon, my question to you is, do I still get the Bark in the Park bandana that you were going to rip me off by on Friday night?
No, I was definitely planning to secure one on Saturday for you. Here's the pitch. It swung on and popped up, but we haven't actually announced the team's plans if there will be a makeup Bark in the Park. So who knows? Maybe it'll be one against the Vikings. But if not, same fee applies. I thought it was very reasonable for those that missed the broadcast. I offered to snag one for Kevin, for his dog. Here's the payoff pitch. This is swung on and lifted foul. Zarnacki will make a play on it, and that's out number one. Zarnacki able to glove that in foul territory for the first out, and Taylor will hit next with one out and the bases clear after a big first out for Noe following the 5-run frame in the first. But I offered to grab it for him, but of course nothing's free. I mean, a very reasonable fee to be at the ball game and to grab the doggy bandana for Kevin. I proposed $20. Normally I'd charge $25, but since Kevin's a friend, I gave him a $5 discount. This is low for a ball on the count 1-0.
Well, I appreciate that. So, you know what? I'll take the discount now. So, yeah, I'll take the $20.
It's all about how you frame it.
Exactly. You framed it correctly, Brandon.
It's not to mention the money you owe me for the bet on the mascot race. Here comes the 1-0. This is swung on and cracked to center. That's going to be a base hit. Diving Rimkus had it deflect off his body. It's a one-out single for Taylor, and that'll bring up McDevitt. Squeakers the Mouse was distracted by some cheese and lost a mascot race to Lucky the Unicorn on Friday night at Oil City Stadium. It was kind of the buzz around the ballpark. Everyone was talking about it. McDevitt stands in with one out and one on. Here's the pitch swung on and cracked to right. This ball's going to get down for a base hit and then roll into foul territory. Extra bases for McDevitt. Headed toward third is Taylor. He's going to get the green light, and he will score. And now McDevitt thinking three. Here's the relay to third. It's wild. It bounces away, and McDevitt holds at third. Holding at third base with a triple is McDevitt. RBI triple for Chris McDevitt, and the Vikings have added on. It's now 6-4 in favor of Southland.
And that's why one of those things that comes with playing at Dowling Park, the expansive foul territory. McDevitt put that on a good rope down the line in right field, and then it dropped just fair and then took a good roll into that foul territory, and that made it a tough play for Hodges to track down, and he had McDevitt had the green light to go all the way for three there, and just really a good piece of contact there.
There was a chance he could have gone for 4 because that ball was thrown away, but he couldn't find the ball, so he made the smart decision of just staying back at third base. Probably would have been a close play at the plate had he ran. And you don't want to run outs on the base path. Southland did that a couple of times Friday night as well as earlier last week, and that could have cost them some ball games in my opinion. So smart decision there by both Rocco Masuda, the third base coach, and Chris McDevitt to hold him at third.
Yeah, I mean, on a day where it looks like both teams may score double-figure runs, you're not trying to squeeze out an extra run. You know there's a good chance that something else will happen in this inning that would allow a run to score with only one away. 6-4 in the early going, and it's shaping up to be a slugfest at Dowling Park. 2-0 on Vilecki. The pitch to him high for ball 3.
For Noe on the mound, you can't let those pieces of contact rattle you. You have to try to keep throwing strikes. Don't try to pitch around too much because it's still been a good strategy that's been working for him as he's been putting stuff in the zone, but just the Vikings have been making good contact with it. But when you try to pitch around, that's when you could run in trouble with the walks.
And the one was fouled right near us. I flinched a little bit. There's actually a hole in the netting right in front of me. So we're okay, though. That netting did its job, and the count 3-1.
Crowd might picked it up really nice, too.
Yeah, that was kind of startling. Here comes the 3-1 pitch. This is swung on, lifted in the air to right center. Underneath it is the center fielder, Baker. He gloves it, tagging at third, McDevitt. Here comes the throw toward home. It's cut off, and a run scores. And Southland has a 7-4 lead now after a sacrifice fly by the right fielder, Bilicki. And there's now 2 down in the inning, but another run in.
So for Noe, at least you get that second out. You allow the run, but now he can try to work more efficiently here as the base paths are clear, so you're not worried about another run coming across. At this point, the damage has been done, but the message now is to make sure you don't allow extra base runners, that you just try to get your bats back up with just a 3-run deficit.
Anderson takes low and in for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes. 2 outs and the base is clear. 7-4 now Southland.
And the job for Logan Anderson is just keep the train rolling, and that's what Southland has been able to do thus far today. They sent 9 up in the first inning so far. First 4 guys have been up for Southland. Ooh, what a hack there.
Big swing and a miss.
And that's just something that they need to get back to focusing on, just handing the lineup over to the next guy. They did that great throughout the entire month of June, especially over that 6-game winning streak, even in that 7th game that they finally lost against the Lake County Corn Dogs.
Here's the 1-1 to Anderson. He swings and pops this one up. It's on the infield. Cosenza, the third baseman, puts the leather on it, and the inning ends. But not before Southland gets 2 more. They do it on 2 hits and leave none. We've played 2 innings. The score, Southland 7 and the Oilmen 4 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home, the ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world, keep America's railroads on the right track, help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Coming up on Friday, July the 22nd, it is Police and Fire Appreciation Night at Oil City Stadium. We'll honor our military heroes this Friday, but coming up on the 22nd, it is honoring our community heroes involved in police and fire, and it's all sponsored by a proud partner of Oilman Baseball, BP Whiting. We're thrilled to have BP Whiting back with us again this season, and we're thrilled to have Police and Fire Appreciation Night on Friday, July the 22nd. Tickets are on sale now on NWIOilmen.com. We hope to see you then. It's a 7:10 game that night at Oil City Stadium. We go to inning number 3 here. It's the middle of the order for the Oilmen. Zebig, Zarnacki, and Clark are due up, as it'll be the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due, and Zebig, who tripled, drove in a run, and scored a run his first time, will lead it off with Everard still working for Southland.
And for Everard, it's the same task as before. Now just hold the lead, throw a lot more strikes, which in my opinion I think he did in that second inning compared to that first inning. But overall, this task still remains the same. Limit the damage as much as possible. We're in for a high-scoring thriller this afternoon/evening here at Dowling Park, so try to limit the damage as much as possible. You know it's going to be a long night when you're in the third inning. It's a 7-4 game, and no one's warming up in either bullpen.
0-1 on Zebig. Here's the slow wind and fire from Everard. It's high for a ball. What a contrast, guys, from the game a week ago today. 2-0 in favor of Southland.
That was one where both starting pitchers did a really good job of getting those swinging and missing strikes. Everard only had the 2 walks out-dueling Shalaski for the Oilmen, but now we're seeing both teams putting a lot of contact on the ball here.
This is low and in for a ball, 2-1. And what a difference a week makes. After that game, the mood was kind of subdued surrounding the Oilmen. They, at that time, had seen their record slip to 9-10, having a hard time getting over 500. This is outside for a ball. 3-1 on Zebig, but now they have won 4 straight and hold a 13-10 mark.
And it was really how they bounced back with that doubleheader then against the Joliet Generals, winning both games of that. You could tell they were really just playing with a lot of confidence after that and have been able to get on a nice roll, now trying to keep it going here against the Vikings.
Here's a swing and a foul at the plate, or maybe a swing and a miss. Either way, it's 3-2.
That's where you look at it, too, having that rain out on Saturday. For the Oilmen, you kind of wanted to keep playing there, get another game in. They were rolling. You'll take the extra off day, but when they were on a bit of a win streak there, you want to play as many games as you can while you still have that hot momentum.
Full count pitch upcoming from Everard to Zebig, and here it is. Swinging a bouncing ball to the left side. Coming in to field it is the shortstop Taylor. His throw to first is in time. McDevitt had to come off the bag to receive the throw, and he swiped the tag on Zebig running by. 6-3, the putout goes for the first out of the third inning.
And that off day, added off day, I should say, on Saturday, kind of helped this Vikings team reset their rotation. Everard was a guy who was most likely going to start Saturday night on the road in Crown Point in a tough environment, but it allowed the Nowakowskis and Rocco Masu to come together and reset the rotation for the remainder of the league. The Vikings were projected to play 6 games in 6 days. They did 5-5, which takes a toll on a pitching staff no matter at what level. So that extra off day really helped the Vikings rotation get back to where it needed to be for this week.
Chopper to third, Fives throws to first in time. First pitch swinging, Zarnacki is retired. Now 2 gone, nobody on, and that'll bring up Clark. Oilmen scored 3 times in the top of the first to take an early lead, but they trail it here 7-4 in the third.
The Oilmen here just want to keep trickling runs on you. We're able to put a big one up in the second inning, as now the Vikings have had 2 big spots here, so you want to make sure you just keep adding to that you're not saving a big comeback for late in the game, that you're just doing it little by little here.
Chaz Clark takes a strike. Wanted to get more into the Friday night game beyond just the mascot race, as thrilling as that was, and controversial, might I add. 0-1.
It's definitely controversial, Brandon.
Kevin contested that Stephanie, our game day event staff manager, this is outside for a ball, unfairly distracted Squeakers with a piece of cheese that led to the Lucky the Unicorn victory. This is neither here nor there. I was actually going to get to something beyond that. I went down that road again. Here comes the 1-1 to Clark. Swinging a line drive to right. That ball is going to get down in front of a diving Bilecki, and it goes all the way to the wall as it gets past him. Clark's thinking 2. He might get 3. He's rounding second. He's headed for third. The throw comes in. He's going to stand at third base with a triple. It was a diving effort for Bilecki. He couldn't come up with it, and that risk to go for broke turned out to hurt the Viking right fielder as it made the 3-base hit for Chaz Clark.
And that's why that's such a high-risk, high-reward play by Bilecki out there in the outfield. He was going for the out there, wasn't quite able to get it, and even the way he dove out there with the glove basically being the only stop between the ball and continuing rolling there, that he wasn't able to keep his body behind it either, allowed for that to go all the way to the wall and result in a big 2-out triple there for Chaz Clark. Now the Oilmen here just looking for another run.
And I think that ball was going to get by Bilecki no matter what. That ball took a weird angle and kind of hooked towards that line. The only way he was going to be able to get that ball, whether he dove or not, was extending that right glove of his. And he thought the best option was probably the dive. That probably was, because that was probably the only way he was going to get something to deflect and knock that ball down out in right field.
Cosenza swings the first pitch and grounds it over the third base bag foul. Just foul, and the count 0-1.
We've seen it a couple times. That McDevitt play was a good example of it, where when you put one near the foul line here, that can result in extra bases too, because it takes that big roll into foul territory. You just got to keep it fair past the bag and then hope it takes that roll outside, because that can really be a game changer here at Dowling Park.
No balls and a strike on Cosenza. Here's the wind from Everard in the 0-1. This is swung on and lifted in the air to right. Under it is Bilecki. Now he goes back on it and can't make the catch, and this one hops up against the fence and into second base with a double is Cosenza. Clark comes in and scores. Initially, the way Bilecki came in on this ball, I thought he was going to camp underneath it, and then he went back on it. I think he misread this ball in right, but it goes as a base hit. Clark comes in and scores, and the Oilmen have moved a step closer. It's now Southland 7 and the Oilmen 5.
He definitely misread that ball, and I think it's because of the sun. And the sun is in a weird angle right now where every fly ball, no matter how high it's hit, is just going straight into the sun if you're on the right side of the infield or in the outfield. So that's McDevitt and Sanchez in the infield, Bilecki in the outfield, and it's definitely throwing him for a loop there. And all of a sudden, Northwest Indiana, they got right back in this ball game, trailing by 2, and the time runs up.
Bilecki swings and grounds this one toward third foul, and the count 0-1.
The Oilmen showing some signs of life here with 2 outs. That's a big thing for a team, where they don't quit with 2 outs, where they're continuing to put good contact. And that was a nice piece of opposite field power there from Cosenza, the right-handed batter sending it out to right field. He got a good piece of contact there, and now that's extended the inning and brought the Oilmen within 2 here.
0-1 on Sebastian Cabeza, who walked his first time. Runner at second, Cosenza. Let's see if Cabeza can drive in a 2-out run. And the 0-1. This is swung on and cracked in the air, and back on this one is the left fielder Cano. He's underneath it, shy of the wall. He makes the catch. Pretty good contact for Cabeza, but the inning comes to an end. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 left for the Oilmen in that frame. After 2.5, it's now Southland 7 and the Oilmen 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well-mouthed desert, meet ice-cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back at Dowling Park in Hammond as we get set for the bottom of the 3rd inning. Each team has been scoring at will here in the early going. There has not been a 0 put on the board by either squad to this point, as Noe is going to try to change that here in the 3rd, as the Vikings will send up the 6, 7, and 8 hitters. The Oilmen had 2 outs and nobody on, but back-to-back extra base hits produced a run.
I kind of like how both managers aren't rushing things, going to their bullpens, yanking their pitchers early. They're letting them work through it, because if you look at it, both of them are doing a good job throwing strikes. They haven't looked wild. They're just giving up a lot of contact, and that's something you feel like you can live more with than the wildness as a manager, and they're letting these guys get that experience in, try to work through it, find something to try to stop it, rather than yanking them early and potentially shattering their confidence.
And to your point, Leo, Noe just the 1 walk, and technically it was a hit by a pitch on that 3-2 pitch to Fenner to lead off the bottom of the 1st. And for Everard, 3 walks, and they all have come in the 2nd inning, and only 1 of them came around to score.
This is swung on and looped to right. Racing in is Hodges. He's going to play this one on a bounce. And that's a bloop single for Jason Kroll to begin the 3rd, Kev.
And like that type of contact, you just have to tip your hat to if you're the pitcher, Noe, there, because you made a really good pitch, a low and away outside corner fastball that Kroll was just able to drive the ball to on the opposite side of the field. It's something that the Southland team has been really good at today. It's just finding holes and taking the ball once the pitcher is giving it to them, whether on the inside or outside part of the plate.
Thies standing in. This is a check swing. It's taken high for ball 1. 1 ball and no strikes.
And we've seen that from the Vikings today, as they're putting the league on notice that they have some really good hitters, that they're tough outs to get. They're a tough team to pitch to. And it's not just one or two players. It really has been the 1 through 9 today, all just producing.
1-0 is swung on and lifted in the air to left. Coming in is the left fielder Clark, and going out is the shortstop Marshall to make the catch for the first out of the inning. So a nice job by Marshall to read that and get out there into shallow left to snag it for the first out of the third.
It was one where, because it was hit so high, it probably looked like it was going to travel further out to left field. We saw Clark coming in on it. It might have been a tough play for him to make, but Marshall was able to stick with it there and record the out.
Now Blaze Cano with 1 out and 1 on. Noe to Cano. Swinging a foul out of play right side. No balls and a strike on Cano, but started to say, but as far as Saturday's game is concerned, I think the Vikings, and I would kind of agree, felt that they outplayed the Oilmen for the majority of the game, but the Oilmen winning thanks in part to the first 3 innings. This is a wild pitch. Advancing to second safely here is going to be Kroll. 1 ball, 1 strike on Cano, but the Oilmen lost that, or the Oilmen won that game in the first 3 innings. Laddies Last, the starting pitcher for the Vikings, walking 6 over those first 3 frames, and that led the Oilmen to 2 big innings early, and that proved to be the difference.
It really did, Brandon. And baseball, obviously, there's no half times, but this is the one occasion where I think the Southland Vikings would have appreciated a halftime, kind of just a mental reset. They didn't really get that opportunity throughout the course of the game.
Ground ball to short. Marshall fields it, throws to first in time, holding at second on the play Kroll. 2 outs and a runner at second. That'll bring up Sanchez.
And while obviously a lot of things have been going right for the Oilmen on this win streak, it feels almost as if some of these games have a pattern where they get off to a good start, they put up runs early, and then the opponent makes a push in the middle part of the game, and then they hang on and nail it down at the end. But so we saw that again against the Vikings, where they had that late push, almost kind of ran out of innings there. So the Oilmen are on the opposite end of that a little bit, where the Vikings also put up some big numbers early. So now they're trying to be the team that makes the push this evening.
This is taken for ball 1 high in the count 1-0. Frank Quinn, the starting pitcher, had a solid start. The Oilmen a solid starting rotation, so I think that's where the question has been, holding on to leads in the middle of the game, depending on who you have on a given day coming out of the pen. Here's a swing and a miss, count 1-1. Adam Enright saying the behavior of Quinn's pitches makes it difficult to hit against him and caused a lot of swings and misses, and he had a really solid start, helping the Oilmen get out to that early lead. Here's the next pitch to Sanchez, swinging a ball lifted foul off to the right, now to play. It's 1-2.
And Enright's talked about this season when certain starting pitchers, whether that's Lito or Quinn or even Burdak the other day, when certain pitchers are throwing good on the mound, that helps the offense out, play with a little more aggression, where you can take extra bases, where you can steal some bags, knowing that your starting pitcher's going to put some goose eggs on the board.
Here's the 1-2, low for a ball. It's a funny game when you think about it in that context, Leo, because in one sense, what happens on the mound really should technically have nothing to do with what your team does offensively, and vice versa. But it always seems like it's a lot easier and you're a lot more comfortable up there if you have a guy on the mound that you really trust and things are going well on as far as shutting the other team down. This is off the plate for a ball. And you always feel a little more comfortable on the mound when your offense is putting a lot of support up for you, if that makes sense.
It kind of does. As you think, sometimes the outside observer thinks baseball, that since it's almost 2 different games, offense and defense, that one doesn't affect the other, but this is hard hit ball left field.
Yeah, right there is Clark. The left fielder gloves it, and the inning ends. We'll continue this discussion when we come back. No runs for the first time today. Shocking news here. No runs on 1 hit and 1 left. We've played 3. It remains a high scorer. It's Southland 7 and the Oilmen 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
If you hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me hear Lando Frost, premium meat, delicious, and no byproducts.
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make a smart choice. Lando Frost premium meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
$7.10. You can get your tickets now on NWIOilmen.com. Rosters will be out about a week from now, and we look forward to very much to the Northern League All-Star Game. The East will be managed by Oilman manager Adam Enright. The West will be managed by Joliet Generals manager Joe Silva, based on the teams that participated in the championship series a year ago. So mark your calendar for the Northern League All-Star Game coming up at Oil City Stadium.
It's one of the fun things about the All-Star Game is seeing teams like the Oilmen and Vikings, Oilmen and Corn Dogs that are playing so many thrilling games back and forth, emotions on both sides. Then they have to be teammates for a night, and it just puts a different spin on the season as we've seen it.
First pitch here to Rimkus is swung on and tapped foul in the count 0-1.
And can I just say this? I think the East team, just based off how the league has gone so far this year, is kind of loaded. You look at Lake County and the way they've been dominant this year. Northwest Indiana, the way they've been playing as of late. Southland's finally getting it going here. There's a lot of quality players, not just obviously on both sides, but especially on this East All-Star team this year when you look at the 1 through 9 guys who will be playing for the East.
Rimkus rips this in the air to left center. The center fielder Fenner calls it and gloves it for the first out of the inning. 1 out, and that'll bring up the hottest hitter in the Northern League, Chris Baker.
To Kevin's point, too, those are the 1, 2, 3 teams as well on the East side, so obviously, though, we've seen with so much parity in the league, this could still be a thrilling game.
Right. I mean, it's tight. There's a talent even on the Giants roster, and they sit in last place. And then the Generals and Panthers are right there in the standings, nipping at the heels of the top 3. The top 5 are really also close, especially the middle 4 in between the Corn Dogs. Here's a swing and a rip to left center, but this one's going to be caught by the center fielder Fenner, and Baker is out number 2. 2 up and 2 down to begin the 4th here for Everard.
A couple of quick outs, too. That's really helping Everard on the mound, too, where he's only had to throw a couple of pitches, get 2 outs after some lengthy innings. This could be the type of inning he needs to try to settle in here and provide some stability to this ballgame.
David Marshall with 2 outs and the base is clear, but it's, of course, the team's divided geographically based on the Indiana-based teams and the Illinois-based teams. Here's the pitch to Marshall, ground ball toward second, collected by Sanchez. He throws out Marshall, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Everard in the 4th. We played 3.5. It remains Southland 7 and the Oilmen 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an iron worker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions. And the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
Bottom 4 coming up. It's a 7-5 game in favor of Southland as the Oilmen are going to stick with Noe here to begin the last of the 4th inning. A quick inning, needing just 4 pitches to complete that last inning, was Everard, and both pitchers now have put up zeros after a bizarre first 2.5 innings.
This is a good sign for both managers, for Enright and Masudo alike. They're happy to finally see that their trust in their starters has paid off. I mean, you knew it was going to be a matter of time before they would finally start to get quick outs and easy outs with how much these guys on both sides have been swinging away at early counts, 1-0, 1-1 counts like that. And that 4-pitch, 4th inning for Everard was just the capper for all of that, for both him and for Noe for Northwest Indiana.
It'll be Fenner to lead off this inning as we get set to begin the bottom of inning number 4. Raleigh Thill, the longtime high school baseball coach at Boone Grove, is calling balls and strikes. He's also been an official in the area for a number of years, and he takes ball 1, 1-0. And Mike Clay, longtime umpire in the league, again on the bases today. Fenner grounds this one weakly to the left side, crossing over is Cosenza to field it, and he throws high to first. Safe at first is Fenner. The throw from Cosenza pulled Zebig off the first base bag, and Fenner is safe.
That was a bit of an interesting play over there on the left side of diamond, as it looked like Cosenza and Marshall had to come close to it, and Cosenza ended up being the one calling for it, taking it, and so he kind of had to rush through his delivery there, as there was maybe that a bit of confusion over who was going to take it. Just that slight hesitation might have been what made the throw come in high and pulled Zebig off the bag.
I think a good throw gets him there. It goes to Z5. Pitch, a strike, the runner goes, throw to second, is going to bounce in there, not in time. It's a stolen base for Fenner. Now a base hit could drive in another run for the Vikings here in this 4th inning.
And Fenner just hustling out of the box. A lot of guys just kind of get mentally frustrated when they just pound the ball into the ground like he there, but instead ran as hard as he could down that line and forced Cosenza at third to make a strong throw, and she was unable to.
And this one bounces past Cosenza and into left field. Around third is Fenner. He's going to hold there. Digging towards second base is Taylor. The throw to second on him is not in time. It bounces away as Fenner holds at third. A smash past Cosenza. He couldn't glove it as it got by him. Taylor ends up at second base, and the adventure continues here as there are runners at second and third in inning number 4, and it's 7-5 Southland.
It was a tough play for Cosenza at first base, or at third base. You saw he was able to get in front of that one, just kind of redirected off his glove, and you saw a moment of visible just upsetness from Cosenza there at third base, but now you just have to try to shake that off and try to get some outs here in the inning.
Go with the double on this one. It was a hard hit ball. Cosenza don't think got a piece of it. Here's a swing and a miss, and the count 0-1.
And AJ Taylor's been hitting the ball hard today. He reached on an error made by the shortstop, Marshall, and now a single and the double. He's putting himself a heck of a ball game. He had a strong performance Friday night against the Oilmen as well.
This is high and outside for a ball on McDevitt, and it's 1-1. He hustled all the way into second base. Fenner just moved up 90 feet from second to third. Throw bounced into second, and safe there was Taylor. But another play the Oilmen would ideally have liked to have made. Has not been a clean defensive game by any means. Here's ball 2, 2-1 on McDevitt.
These are just the type of innings that Southland's really been able to string together here, where you get those first 2 base runners on and then make the Oilmen pay with it, and just doing a good job of making tough outs to get in the first couple of batters in these innings.
2 balls and a strike on McDevitt. Here's the pitch to him, taken for ball 3. It goes to 3-1.
And just as we're talking about how Noe was working hard and just getting quick outs and quick innings here, he's had the leadoff error, then the double, and now he's fallen behind 3-1 to McDevitt. He needs to find a strike here just to give himself not just any momentum, just some confidence out there.
3-1 swing and a foul.
McDevitt's the team leader in walks with 23. The next closest Southland Viking has 12, so he's just been head and shoulders working more free passes than any of his teammates.
And he's just so patient, and that's part of his approach, and he takes great pride in that approach. He's like, look, I look for one pitch and one pitch only. If I don't see it, I'm taking it all the way. He doesn't swing at a whole lot of pitches outside the strike zone unless he's got a full count like he has right here.
3-2 is swung on and lifted, foul out of play, and it remains 3 balls and 2 strikes. Southland 7 and the Oilmen 5, but runners at second and third and nobody out here in the bottom of inning number 4 for the Vikings. Oilmen and Vikings split the first 2 matchups between these 2 teams. This is the 3rd game in an 8-day period here between the 2. This is high for ball 4 on a payoff pitch, and now the bases are full of Vikings. That'll bring up Bilicki, who has walked, scored, stole a base, and drove in a run with a sac fly. He's no official at bat as of yet today, and he'll bat with the bases full and nobody out.
This could be a big spot for Southland to try to break open this game. You already have a 2-run lead. You just had your pitcher work a quick inning, and now with the bases loaded, nobody out, you could really make this a lopsided margin.
Here's a check swing and a strike call on the outer portion. The count 0-1.
And for Balicki, you just have to keep a short, simple approach. Just seek and only seek your pitch right here. Bases loaded, no one out. You don't want to force yourself into swinging at your pitch that isn't yours.
0-1 is swung on and fouled, and now it's a 2-strike count. Noe would enjoy a strikeout. 0-2 with the bases full. Oilmen seeking a 4th straight win here today. They're going to have to come from behind to do it. The Vikings trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Southland trying to stay above 500. They are 11-10. The Oilmen at 13-10. Second and third place in the standings are these two teams. This is outside for a ball. Fastball outside, trying to get him to chase was Noe, and the count is 1-2.
How about Zarnacki there with the snag? That had a wild pitch ridden all over it. He was able to use his right leg and force himself and plant himself to be able to slide over a la hockey goalie style to make the nice grab there.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. Taken high for ball 2, and the count evens at 2-2. Bases loaded, nobody out in this 4th inning. Vikings already 7 runs here today, and they're looking to make it more. Save a chance for a big inning. Big spot here. Balicki backs away. These two teams split the 2 games last week. The Oilmen losing 2-0 here on Monday, and then the Oilmen winning on Friday night by a 9-5 score at Oil City Stadium. Here's the 2-2. This is swung on and cracked to right. Hodges will make the catch. Tagging at third is Fenner. He's going to try to score. The throw will be cut off, and a run comes in and scores. Runners hold at first and second, but Fenner crosses the plate. It's a sacrifice fly for Balicki. It's his 2nd sac fly of the day. He now has 10 RBIs on the season. He still has no official at bat, but he's been a contributor all day long. Runners at first and second, 1 away, and it's now 8-5 Southland.
And that's why it was so advantageous for Southland to have the bases loaded with nobody out there. You can spare a sacrifice fly there and now still have 2 runners on, trying to threaten to score more runs here, so they can still make this a difficult inning for the Oilmen to navigate.
Oilmen defense playing it conservatively, did not throw home, wanted to keep the runners at first and second in this spot, and Anderson takes strike 1 call. Anderson is 0 for 2. Runners go, pitch inside, look out, hit by a pitch is Anderson, and everybody will move up as the bases are going to be full. Anderson gets hit by a pitch, and now the bases are reloaded with 1 away for Kroll.
And for Anderson, that might just be the start of something for him just to get things going. Strikeout swinging, he was kind of over-aggressive, then swung out of his shoes and popped out to third. That time he was getting ready to take it all the way as both runners were going, but was able to hold up at the last second and got skimmed by that fastball in the other half. Hopefully that just gives him some sort of confidence going up to for his next at-bat, knowing that he can get on base against Noe.
First pitch to Kroll here is low and outside for ball 1. Zarnacki doing yeoman's work in this inning. Blocks that one, and it's 1-0. Hasn't been an easy day to be back there behind the plate for some long innings. 1 ball, no strikes on Kroll. 8-5 Vikings. Here's the 1-0. Swinging a tapper foul behind the dish, and the count evens at 1-1. One ball, 1 strike. Runners lead at all 3 bases. Here's the pitch on the way. Low and outside for a ball, 2-1. Two and one. Runners again at all 3 bases. The Vikings have scored once in this inning to up the lead to 3. Here's the 2-1. Swinging a ground ball towards short. This is going to be to second for 1. The relay throw to first is going to be in time for a double play. Dug out by Z-Big. Nicely turned. 6-4-3 on the twin killing. And the side is retired as the damage is limited to 1 run. Another unearned run yielded by the Oilmen. The Vikings get it on 1 hit and leave 2. We've played 4 innings. It's Southland 8 and the Oilmen 5. Leo will have it for you when we come back on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Leader starter Kevin Malater back with you here at Dowling Park for the top of the fifth inning. Max Everard stays in the game here. You have to think that 4-pitch, 1, 2, 3, fourth inning really helped his cause as he was able to kind of settle into a rhythm here. The Oilmen have not scored since the third inning.
Gave him some added confidence. It gave also Rocco Masudo and Scott Nowakowski just kind of some time to think about, hey, he's still got it. He's still got his stuff. He just got batted around, and they don't complain about that after what they've experienced the past couple of days. They were both equally as frustrated with Friday night's result, not because they lost, but because of the fact that they walked a lot of guys last, particularly the starter. That 6 walks that Brandon brought up earlier was a key source of frustration for the coaching staff. And they were both telling me pregame, they said, look, Kevin, we're focused on one thing today, throw strikes. They're able to throw strikes. They believe they can win any ball game that they're in. Everard, has thrown a lot more strikes today. Even though he's gotten hit a lot more by these Oilmen hitters, he's been more consistently throwing strikes and being in the zone all night long.
Jason Hodges, first batter to face Everard here, fouls this one away. Hodges still trying to reach base for the first time today. He has a ground out and a flyout, an 0 for 2 /9 for him so far. He's down 0-1 in this count after fouling that one away. So Everard goes into his windup here. Hodges lays off that one, makes it 1-1, and Everard being able to throw so many strikes has helped the Vikings not have to go to their bullpen early here. In a game where they've been able to allow 5 runs, they've still been able to keep their starter throwing some good stuff on the mound here, as this one inside makes it a 2-1 count. The Oilmen have allowed 8 runs, and they have some activity in their bullpen, but Southland seems to be working with Everard here following his Northern League Pitcher of the Week honor.
For sure, and it also helps knowing that you have 4 more games this week in as many days upcoming.
As Hodges sends this one over to Taylor at shortstop. He throws this one low, but in there in time for the first out of the inning. McDevitt secures it. So Hodges moves to 0-3 on the day so far.
And last week we saw the pitching staff got really stressed out over the course of that 5 games in 5 days stretch. It was going to be 6 games had there not been the rain out on Saturday night. Got to a point where Jason Kroll, who is the starting catcher today for the Vikings, hadn't pitched since high school, had to pitch out of necessity on Thursday night against Joliet Generals at home. So having Everard being able to go longer and give him some trust is something that I think the Vikings coaching staff is really happy about, despite giving up the 5 runs.
Especially as the first pitch to Zebig is low for a ball, especially on the first day after 2 off days, that helps have your starter go deep in the bullpen where you don't have to go to that pen early in the game where he can work through, preserve some arms for a little bit as Zebig puts this one in the air. Left center field coming in are Fenner and Cano. Cano gets under it for the catch there, so second out of the inning as Kyle Zarnacki will be the next batter up for the Oilmen.
And remember, this is exactly what you want to see, another couple of quick outs. You got Hodges on a 2-1 pitch of our call there, just on the 1-0 offering to Zebig, and now he's got 2 away, so back-to-back quick innings thus far. If Everard's able to retire Zarnacki rally quickly, he could be going back out there for the 6th inning, despite giving up the 5 runs, which would surely be something incredible.
Zarnacki takes that one inside for ball 1. He had a sacrifice fly in the first inning and grounded out in the third. He's looking to reach base for the first time today in his second official plate appearance. The count's 1-0 against Everard. Here comes the pitch. This one just misses inside for ball 2. The Oilmen, as I mentioned, have not scored since the third inning. They're looking to try to just keep up with a Southland team that's doing a good job of just trickling in these runs. just about every frame. Next pitch is Zarnecki, low for a ball, makes it 3-0. Zarnecki trying to execute a 2-out walk here.
And that 2-out walk could also make Rocco Masudo and Scott Nowakowski consider whether we should start getting a guy up in the Vikings bullpen.
That pitch in there for strike one. Zarnecki started making his pace down the line, thinking he had ball 4 there. Now he'll have to return to the right-handed batter's box here. Count moves to 3-1. 2 away here in the top of the 5th inning. Here comes Everard's 3-1 pitch. Zarnecki lays off that one for ball 4, so the Oilmen do execute that 2-out walk. That's something they've been doing a good job of today, is still being able to get base runners on when they're 2 away in an inning. Not going down easy.
And I think that's all because of the way the Oilmen have been able to fight off pitches today. We've seen multi 6, 7, 8 pitch at-bats from Everard against the Oilman hitter, and most of the time it's ended either a hit or a walk in the Oilmen's favor, so they're just trying to fight and stay alive down 3, which is everything you could ask for if you're Adam Enright right now.
Now Chaz Clark comes to the box here. Clark puts the first pitch he sees in the air over to the left side of the diamond, getting under it his thighs, and he makes the grab there. So despite the 2-out walk, the Oilmen go down scoreless here in the top of the 5th inning. They'll look to try to keep the Vikings bats at bay when we return in the bottom of the 5th inning. You're following along on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Beach is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
And the Oilmen will go to their bullpen first as we're back here for the bottom of the 5th inning. Tyler Pricing will take over the duties on the mound. Pricing 0-1 on the season so far in his 4th appearance here. 1 start to show for it, a 3.85 earned run average, 7 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts to 6 walks, and 5 hits. He has not pitched since June 17th when he threw an inning of shutout ball against the Corn Dogs, and he's trying to cool off a Vikings lineup that has just been putting a lot of contact on the ball here.
Yeah, and the key for him is just going to be throw strikes. If you're going to be able to throw strikes and execute with your fastball, good things will happen. The Vikings are just trying to see a new arm. They got really comfortable with Noe there in the last couple of innings. They had multi-innings where they sent 5 or more guys to the plate at one point. So now for Pricing, the job is simple. Throw your fastball in there for strikes and let your defense go to work for you when you're coming out of the bullpen, especially when you haven't pitched since June the 17th, which was 10 days ago.
Now Pricing is just trying to pick up the mantle after Noe. He did a good job throwing strikes. A little bit of walk trouble at the end of his at-bat, but for the most part, what was keeping him in that game was just pitching for contact. And the Vikings, to their credit, are a very solid lineup. They were putting bats on balls on a lot of well-placed pitches from Noe, a lot of stuff on the outside corners. They were just able to put the ball all over the field against them.
Yeah, and you knew it was only a matter of time before Southland were able to do that. They went through a stretch of 3 consecutive games where the offense started to go cold, and you just knew eventually that they were going to break out of it, because that's what all good teams do. Good teams break out of their cold stretches. We saw Northwest Indiana start to do that towards the end of last week. Lake County at one point dropped a couple of games in a row. They were able to break out of it, and now look where they are at 16-7 and atop the Northern League. Good teams are able to break out of their cold stretches, and it's only because of the way their offense is able to produce. And so far we're seeing that from the Southland team.
So it'll be Fies, Cano, and Sanchez, the 7, 8, 9 hitters for the Vikings to lead things off in the bottom of the 5th inning. They currently lead 8-5. Fies is 0 for 2 so far, but he drove in a run. Takes a first pitch ball from Pricing. Pricing's first appearance came against the American Giants on June 2nd, then against the Panthers on the 7th, and then the Corn Dogs on the 17th. That one just misses for ball 2. We'll go 2-0. So now on the 27th, he faces the Vikings for his first time this season. Third overall matchup between the two teams here in the Northern League. Pricing floats in a strike there to make it a 2-1 count.
And Pricing with a good response. 2 pitches that he kind of missed poorly with in terms of whether he got Zarnacki's spun or not.
Fies checks on that one for a strike there, a little bit low, so that'll even the count up at 2. And we've seen now for Pricing, he has the advantage of seeing what was and wasn't working against this Southland lineup, knowing what spots maybe avoid and which hitters can make it trouble. So we'll see coming out of the bullpen how his approach differs from Noe's. As the 2-2 pitch from the right-hander. He's in there for strike 3. He sends Fies down looking for the first out of the 5th inning.
What a great response there from Pricing. Falling behind 2-0 to Nick Fies, who's a guy who's put the ball in play multiple times today. He comes back with 3 really strong breaking balls on the hour and a half. Maybe it's the breaking ball that's going to be the difference for him in terms of whether he gets Vikings out or not. Southland really started to tee up on Noe's fastball during those last couple innings in addition to those walks.
Blaze Cano takes pitch for strike 1 from Pricing. Cano 1 for 2 so far with an RBI.
And that breaking ball could be the difference in what Southland can see and what you were talking about there, Leo.
Cano fouls this one away, and he's quickly down 0-2. So we're about 2.5 hours into the game here at the 6:30 mark. Bottom of the 5th inning here. Or hour and a half. Math was wrong there. Feels like just a short time as we're having lots of fun here with counts 1 and 2.
Exactly.
I was a journalism major, not a math major. As Pricing racks up the second strikeout of this inning here for the second out. Strikeout looking to Fies, and then a strikeout swinging to Cano. And now he's facing Armani Sanchez with 2 outs and no men on. The Oilmen hoping now for a quick inning, something they haven't had too many of defensively this evening.
Yeah, math serves me right. If Sanchez goes down here, it's the first 1-2-3 inning for the Oilmen today. So I'm just like you, I'm a journalism major as well, so I'm not very good at math. But credit to Pricing, fresh out of the pen against a red-hot Viking lineup. He's coming out here. He's just throwing strikes, which is exactly what you need to do when you're coming out of the bullpen in a game like this, especially when you're trailing by 3 runs. Your job is to throw strikes, let your offense go back up to the plate with the sticks.
And this foul ball to Sanchez will make it a quick 0-2 count. So kind of what Kevin was saying there. After the first batter where he pitched around the zone a little bit to Fies, he's just thrown 5 straight strikes now to have Sanchez down 0-2 and on the verge of getting out of this inning unscathed. And you want to try to get this out before having to face the top of the order again. Save that for the 6th inning as the 0-2 pitch misses outside for ball 1.
Yeah, because Fenner reached twice, Taylor's reached 3 times, McDevitt's reached 3 times as well. Balicki single with a pair of sacrifice flies. You do not want to face the top of the lineup again with runners on base if you're Pricing.
The 1-2, he checks up, goes far enough for strike 3, so Pricing strikes out the side there. First 1-2-3 inning of the game for the Oilmen, and now they're going to try to cut back, chasing 3 here as we head into the 6th inning on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NICA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me hear Land of Frost. Premium meat. Delicious. And no byproducts.
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
Back here at Dowling Park with Leo Staudaher and Kevin Malater. Brenna Vickery back with you as we take it to inning number 6. A 1-2-3 inning a moment ago, and a nice job by Tyler Pricing coming in and not only retiring the side in order, but striking out the side in that fifth. Now we take it to the sixth inning, and back out to begin a sixth inning of work is Max Everard. After his day started with allowing a 3-run first, and there were some precarious spots in the early going, I wasn't sure he'd make it as far as the sixth inning, but here we are.
Yeah, and that all goes back to that 4-pitch fourth inning that he had. It really gave him just some momentum and fresh out of confidence. He came off the mound smiling and kind of gave a quick fist pump there before he walked into the top step of the dugout, knowing that he probably extended his outing by at least another inning. And since then, he's been in control and hasn't missed much, Brandon.
So swung on and ripped foul off the bat of Cosenza, and the count is no balls and 1 strike.
Cosenza trying to break through here. He had the big double last time up and a walk, trying to make his third base appearance of the day. He's been making some hard contact. He's hoping to help the Oilmen out as they're chasing 3.
0-1 to Cosenza, strike 2 called. No balls and 2 strikes. Every game between these two teams is going to be big, I think, the rest of the way, and they're going to play a lot. This is only the third matchup between the two teams. They will see each other again tomorrow night at Oil City Stadium. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss for strike 3. Out on strikes is Cosenza for the first out of the sixth inning. That'll bring up Sebastian Cabeza next.
We've seen the Oilmen. They saw the Panthers and the Corn Dogs a lot in the early part of the season. Now they're probably going to be seeing the Vikings and the American Giants a little bit more than they were at the start of the stretch. So those are some tough games against some tough teams.
0-1 on Cabeza. First pitch, I should say, to Cabeza with 1 out in the inning. It's a strike. Now it's 0-1. But tomorrow will be the 100th Oilmen Vikings matchup, and the Oilmen entering play tonight a 51-47 edge in a tight all-time series. Here's the 0-1, taken low for a ball, 1-1.
And for the Southland Vikings, they're coming off a stretch where after Thursday's contest, they will already have 8 of their 11 meetings since the Lake County Corn Dogs done. That's a lot of meetings against the best team in the league. And now they enter just an equally as tough stretch against the Northwest Indiana Oilmen, who also have added motive because that's their biggest rival in the league, the two oldest franchises in this league. They've played each other the longest. They've known each other the longest. So this is an equally as tough stretch for the Southland Viking team because now you get a lot more games with the Oilmen, and they always seem to mean more.
Cabeza fists this one foul on a breaking ball from Everard, in the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes, and the two teams are tight in the standings. The Oilmen are 1 game ahead of Southland entering play here today. The Vikings trying to create a tie in the standings, and they lead this game here by an 8-5 score in the top of inning number 6. Here's the 2-strike pitch to Cabeza, swing and a miss, strike 3. Back-to-back swinging strikeouts to begin this inning. 2 gone and nobody on for Rimkus.
Everard just settling in nicely here, finding some good stuff late in the game. That's impressive to see how a pitcher finishes his outing. Now, as he's in the 6th inning now, he still looks just as good as he did in the first inning, being able to get some swing and miss stuff. He really hasn't seemed like he's lost too much off his pitches.
Here's the first pitch to Rimkus. It's low for a ball, 1 ball and no strikes. And the Oilmen 3 games back of Lake County for first place in the standings entering play today. The Corn Dogs are facing the Panthers here this evening. See if we can get an update. There's a swing and a bouncing ball toward third. This is going to get by the third baseman Knowles and skip into foul territory down the left field line. Heading towards second base is Rimkus, and he's going to be there standing up. And the Oilmen with a base runner here with 2 down in the inning as Rimkus ends up at second base.
That's why we talk about how advantageous it can be for the base runner for those big spots in foul territory. As when that one got past Knowles, that allowed Rimkus to get all the way to second base there as there was so much ground. If we were at a tighter stadium, that might have bounced off a wall, got into one of the defenders there, and probably kept him put at first base. But instead now Rimkus was able to make his way all the way over to second.
Now it's Chris Baker standing in. By the way, the Corn Dogs trail their game in the 6th inning by a 4-2 score against Crestwood. That's an opportunity for both these teams to try to make up ground on first place. This is low for a ball. We'll go with E5 there, kind of a borderline call, as it was a bouncing ball. It did make contact with Knowles, the new third baseman, navigating a bit of a tricky bounce, but also a play that could have been made. Runner goes here. This is high for a ball. Throw to third. He steals third base. It's a stolen base, and now 90 feet away is Rimkus. Aggressive move to swipe third. He saw the opportunity to do it against Everard, and he steals third with 2 outs.
Exactly. The aggressive move also because Baker, the left-handed batter, and typically it's more risky because you're essentially letting the catcher cheat towards the third base bag.
This is low and in for a ball on Baker. And with 2 outs getting to third, it's kind of a low reward. I mean, it gets you 90 feet closer. Maybe you can score on a wild pitch or an infield single. You better be safe if you're going to try to steal third with 2 outs. Here's the pitch, swing and a miss by Baker. Chris Baker, 2 for 3 today. Again, we wish him luck in his pro tryout in Utah later on. He said a friend of his just signed to play or a professional contract basketball-wise with Utah. Here's a pitch, swing and a miss by Baker, and we go full now at 3-2. A long conversation with Chris, who's in his 4th season with the Oilmen. He was here from 2016 to 2018. One of the real stalwarts of Oilman baseball, and it's been so good to have him back that this new rule has allowed for guys who have graduated college to have the opportunity to play and potentially latch on with a professional club, and that's what he's trying to do later this week. Here's the payoff pitch to him. This is swung on and lifted in the air on the infield. It's Taylor, the shortstop, underneath it, and he gloves it, battling the sun, and the inning ends. No runs, no hits, and 1 left for the Oilmen in that inning. We played 5.5, and it remains Southland 8 and the Oilmen 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Go to the office. We build it. This is a truism with Ironworkers Local 395 and the Northwest Indiana Contractors Association. Our goal is to exceed our customers' expectations. We provide a skilled, OSHA-trained, drug-free workforce, as well as many other certifications from our 4-year training program. Every time you hire an ironworker from Local 395, you should feel confident that you are receiving highly trained, highly skilled, and drug-free journeymen and apprentices who take their job and your project seriously. For more information, contact us at 219-763-7900 or ironworkers395.com.
Have a student headed to college this fall? If so, you probably have questions, and the best place to find answers is Ivy Tech Community College. Ivy Tech is in your community and offers hundreds of options. Best of all, our tuition is a fraction of the cost of other colleges. Complete a free application today.
I have some time to tie up a few loose narratives here as we get set for the 6th inning. It's 8-5 in favor of Southland. But Leo, we've been kind of talking on and off about Chris Baker throughout the day. I wanted to finish up on that. Really excited about his pro tryout later in the week. We'll see how that goes. He'll miss a few games, and he should be back with the team on Friday. But again, we don't know for how long, depending on how well some of these opportunities go for him. But that's what the new vision of the league is, and he's really become a poster child of that.
Especially in year 1, having a player like Baker take this new vision and run with it. It's one of those things where if he does have to go, we'll be sad to see him go, but you're happy for the opportunity that the Northern League presents it, because not everybody's baseball journey is the same. You always hear these stories of players that take different routes to get to that next level, and Baker is hoping just to continue playing some good baseball. He's just been tearing up the league right now, and he deserves that chance to play at the next level, and he's been able to have that opportunity to showcase his skills thanks to the Oilmen in the Northern League here.
0 for 2 is Fenner. He has scored twice. He was hit by a pitch his first time. He reached on an error in the 4th. Here he takes high and in for ball 1.
And there are several guys on the Southland Vikings who also could be working for that as well. Brett Smith is a guy who really comes to name on the Southland side of things.
Here's a strike, Kevin. Evens the count at 1-1.
He's been really phenomenal both in the starting and bullpen role as of late for this Vikings team. And he was just recently well for the Windy City Thunderbolts and the Joliet Slammers. And he's came to this league looking for an opportunity to work his way back into potentially playing in one of those type of leagues and just continuing his journey as well. And I think it's great that the league decided to change its model to allow ball players to be able to do that. I think it's a great job by everyone at the league. And so far, Baker, as you mentioned, the pure example of that, and maybe we could be seeing Brett Smith soon also be entering that same category as Chris Baker.
Yeah, Baker, again, we'll see how that develops, but at least getting the opportunity to have a chance, thanks to being able to play in the league and put up some really big numbers that's caught the eye of some professional clubs. The 2-2 taken for strike 3 called. Fenner is out on strikes. Pricing has come in and struck out 4 consecutive batters since entering the ballgame. He strikes out the side in the 5th, and he catches Fenner looking to begin the 6th inning.
That's what the Oilmen needed coming out of the bullpen. No, we had a relatively solid start in a game where the Vikings scored 8 runs. He was throwing a lot of good contact, but now Pricing's been able to come, throw some different looks, and get some big strikeouts to keep this an 8-5 game and give the Oilmen a chance to try to come back here.
A.J. Taylor takes high and inside of the fastball on the count 1-0. Final line on Noe, 4 innings, 7 hits, 8 runs, but only 3 were earned. He walked 1 and struck out 1. Also hit a batter. Here comes the 1-0. This is taken high for a ball, 2-0. And then tie up our other conversation, again, it's Crestwood leading Lake County by a score of 4-2. And the Oilmen are really hoping that Friday night is a crack foul. I think it's a goal of Adam Enright's that Friday night is a meaningful game in the Northern League standings. The Corn Dogs are in town. It's Military Appreciation Night, July the 1st, leading into the holiday weekend. It should be a good crowd, good atmosphere, good matchup. And if the Oilmen can make up some ground this week leading into that game, could make it even more thrilling. Here's a ground ball to the left side, and moving to his left is Cosenza. No play in the hole between third and short. He can't come up with it cleanly, and Taylor reaches here with 1 away in inning number 6. That'll bring up McDevitt. But the idea is that the Oilmen are hoping to make up some ground over the course of the week. They're going to have to go to work here trailing by an 8-5 score. It's taken for a strike, and it's 0-1.
And it's funny because you could say this exact same thing about the Southland team. They have Lake County coming to Dowling Park on Thursday night. They're hoping to try to hold this game off. An important game tomorrow night on the road at Oil City against the Oilmen once again. And then Wednesday, big opportunity for a slumping Chicago American Giants team, but they can't afford to take the Giants lightly either. There's a lot of great talent on that Giants team. They just haven't been clicking right now, but who knows? We're getting to the point of view where teams start to click out of nowhere, and the Giants are certainly a candidate for that.
Here comes the next offering here. This is swung on and lifted in the air to center field. It's going to be misplayed and not caught in right center. It's between Baker and Hodges. It falls, and ending up at second base is McDevitt. It was kind of obstructed there. I had a hard time seeing, but it appeared that Hodges and Baker crossed over and had a miscommunication. It falls. Neither man makes the catch, and the runners end up at second and third as the defense remains a little wobbly here in the 6th inning.
That's something that seems like it just happened a few too many times here for the Oilmen. Those type of plays that you probably want back that have resulted in base runners, especially against the top of the order. Those have been the type of plays that Southland's really been able to capitalize on and are a large part responsible for their 8-5 lead here.
So a E5 and then a double on that one, and then a ball that falls between 2 fielders. This is taken high and outside for a ball. 1 ball and no strikes on Bilecki. Now second and third with 1 away here in the 6th. This game's been kind of a scoring nightmare, to be honest. Here's the 1-0, high and outside for a ball, 2-0. There have been numerous errors and then additional misplays that have been borderline, or just plays that should have been made that don't count as errors. Here comes the 2-0. This is high for a ball, 3-0.
There's a ton of eraser marks in my book. I don't know what you guys using, pen or pencil, but I'm sure if you had a pen, you'd cross off a couple because we went back and changed a couple of the rulings there later on.
3-0 on Bilecki. He takes a high for ball 4. It is ball 4. And now the bases are full of Vikings here in the 6th. The Oilmen trail by just 3 at 8-5. But Southland really with a chance to break it further open in the 6th with the bases full and 1 away.
There have been a couple of spots where the lead's been close. The Oilmen have been able to lock it down, keep it as close. That big 5th inning from Pricing and the strikeouts, that double play in the 4th inning. But now this feels like one of those spots where the Oilmen need to come up with another heroic effort to try to keep this a 3-run game.
Here's a ground ball towards short. This is fielded by the shortstop. Marshall flipped to second one. The relay throw to first is in time for a double play. 6-4-3 on the twin killing. Nicely turned, and a nice job inducing the pitcher's best friend by Pricing as the side is retired. No runs for Southland in the 6th on a hit, and they leave 2. We have played 6 complete. It remains 8-5 in favor of the Vikings on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
I've never seen ads on top of the roof where it's helping the community.
This place teaches you to be genuine, to be the same person today as you were yesterday. People from Indiana, they're pretty comfortable with who they are. And you know, I think that puts the people around them at ease to be comfortable with who they are.
The values that built Indiana are here in Strachan Van Til. We're Indiana's grocery store, and we're proud to be Indiana made.
These days, it's recommended that you keep your social circle small. Of course, as the original light beer, we've always recommended that. It's Miller time.
Back at Dowling Park, where there's a new pitcher on the mound, and it's a left-hander. Zach Costello is into the game for the Southland Vikings. The Oilmen have seen him before. He takes the mound here at Dowling Park in relief of Max Everard, who exits in position for the win here today. Despite allowing 5 runs on 6 hits, they were earned. He walked 4 and struck out 2 over his 6 innings. But today, that type of effort is enough to put his team in position to win a ball game, Kevin.
And that's all you can ask for if you're the Vikings coaching staff after Friday night where the starter struggled to throw strikes and get outs, and even some guys in the bullpen to have Everard just battle and show both physical and mental toughness to get through a couple of really tough innings and give life and confidence to this Vikings team after they went down early on. You have to credit Max Everard for a phenomenal performance on what was a tough day at the yard for him, but he kept this team in the ball game, and he's now put them in a position to win. That's all you could ask for, especially when your team is on a 3-game losing streak.
David Marshall will lead off this 7th inning for the Oilmen. Marshall standing in. First pitch to him from Castillo, lefty on lefty. He swings and cracks this one toward left, but right there to make the catch is the left fielder Cano. Pretty good wood on the ball for Marshall, but he's the first out of the 7th inning.
Marshall got a good rip on that one, sent it opposite field, but he just put it right where a player was standing, as that was the first out of the inning for the Oilmen. Sometimes that's hard to time up, that windup we see from Costello, as he was able to wait on it, get the pitch, and then take it pretty far out to left field.
And for Costello, he's got that weird windup where he hides that ball a lot of times behind his back, so both right-hand and left-hand hitters have a trouble seeing it coming out of the hands. But credit to Marshall for just trying to fight a pitch off, and he was able to get a good piece of wood, as both of you mentioned. But good start there for Zach, and after a not his best performance his last time out.
Hodges takes a strike. I was thinking about tomorrow being the 100th game between the Oilmen and the Vikings. A lot of memories down through the years. We've talked about them as the league's oldest teams, low for a ball. Most years they have both been good teams. The Oilmen have been in the playoffs in each of their first 10 seasons in existence. They've been a winning team every year. The Vikings first had their initial glory days under Chris Cunningham, where they won back-to-back championships in 2013 and 2014. Here's a crack to center. This is going to hang up there for the center fielder Fenner. That's the second out of the inning. Then the Vikings had a few down years post-Cunningham under Tony Sanchez for a year. Former big league pitcher John Eli managed them for a year. Kevin Franchetti, they kind of returned and won to being good and won the league championship in their lone season under him, a former Oilman catcher, in 2017. And here's the pitch. It's bunted at, and this is going to be no play. It's a base hit. Bunt single for Zebig. Nice job laying one down. He saw the opportunity to lay it down toward third. Costello coming off the mound couldn't pick it up in time to even make a throw to first, and a bunt single for Zebig.
The Oilmen are so good at laying down those bunts, not being afraid to do it there with 2 outs. You saw the lefty Zebig just laid it down close enough to the mound where Costello had to make the play on it, and it stopped rolling here on the turf. So by the time Costello got to it, Zebig was already probably about 2-3 strides away from the bag, so there was no play even attempted there.
Now Zarnacki with a runner at first and 2 down. But the Vikings then really thrived as far as on the field of play under Dave Letourneau, and then Rocco Masudo took over, and they've remained competitive. This is low for a ball. So they've overall been a strong franchise, and there have been some great matchups between these two teams. I've probably called, I would say, 85 of the 100 games. 1 ball and no strikes, the count on Zarnacki, maybe 90. Runner goes, pitch taken for a strike, and stealing second base uncontested here is Zebig. Now a base hit could drive in a run. I think the best memory, though, is 2020 when the Oilmen 3 straight matchups at Oil City Stadium had walk-off wins against the Southland Vikings. And it was really heated between the teams that year. The Vikings were very frustrated to be walked off 3 different times by the Oilmen. Here's the 1-1 swing and a miss, and the count 1-2. The final 2 of those 3 walk-offs were both by a score of 7-6, and the Oilmen rallying all 3 times in the bottom of the 9th inning and walking off the Vikings during that 2020 season. And it was a memorable stretch and some of the many walk-off games between these 2 teams over the years, again with the all-time series close at 51-47 Oilmen. Runner goes to third, swing and a miss, strike 3, and the inning ends. No runs, 1 hit, 1 left for the Oilmen in the 7th. It's time to stretch at Dowling Park. It remains 8-5 Vikings on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Is just too hot. I mean, God, look at it. It's making the sand burn, the mouth dry, the skin cry. I mean, everything's just... Oh, there's Coors Light. Well, mouth desert, meet ice cold beer. Mountain cold refreshment. That's chill.
Who is the IBEW? We're the people who bring the power to your home. The ones who make sure your phone calls and internet keep speeding along. We build things like schools and hospitals. We bring the biggest shows and sporting events to the world. Keep America's railroads on the right track. Help cities, states, and the federal government work for you. And we proudly build products made in the USA. The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, the IBEW.
You didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't know Miller Lite has more taste and only 1 more calorie than Michelob Ultra. Now, you do.
Back for the bottom of the 7th inning. It's 8-5 in favor of the Vikings. This game was really haywire in the early going, but it has calmed down. 8-5 score. We thought it might be a day where you might need 15 or 20 runs to win this afternoon, the way things got started. But part of the reason it's leveled out is the job Tyler Pricing has done over the last 2 innings. He's put 2 zeros on the board. He worked around a few miscues defensively in the last inning, and with a bases loaded 1-out situation, induced an inning-ending double play.
And for the Oilmen being able to execute that double play, that was what they needed to try to stay in this game, because you have to feel like 3 runs now in the back part of the game might be a lot to overcome. Anything more than that might be too much. So to keep this a 3-run game, that was massive by Pricing. There was an inning where he struck out the side and then was able to induce that great double play to end the last inning.
Kevin, elsewhere, looks like the Corn Dogs have rallied against the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, we really shouldn't be surprised. The Corn Dogs team have just been that knack for coming from behind and trying to take games late. Still the top of the 7th. They are on the road in this Crespa team. They can hit the ball. The Vikings have seen that firsthand. 13-9 thriller a week ago tomorrow. So we'll see if Crespa's able to come back. But like we were talking about earlier, this is still an important game because if Crespa was able to come back and erase that 3-run deficit and potentially win the game like they were able to do Friday night on the road, all of a sudden it becomes a 2-game back lead for whoever wins this game. For the Oilmen or if the Vikings, they are able to potentially tie up the standings.
Some on this date, perhaps, here in the bottom of this 7th inning as Jason Kroll steps in to lead off the frame against Pricing. First pitch is smashed foul out of play right side, and the count 0-1. It's on this date in 2012 that the Will County Cracker Jacks scored 4 times in the top of the 9th inning at Oil City Stadium to rally and beat the Oilmen. Here's a ground ball to the right side. This is fielded by Rimkus. The second baseman throws to first in time. 4-3 the putout goes, and Kroll's retired to begin the 7th. And you thought today was high scoring. They beat the Oilmen that day by a score of 14-13. And there's something about this date. Several times on this date, the Oilmen have made a slew of errors. It was 6 errors for the Oilmen that helped the Cracker Jacks win 14-13 on this date in 2012.
It certainly seems like whenever you have a game that high scoring that there's probably some miscues defensively that help contribute to that.
And the Oilmen have made 5 errors here today as Knowles bats for the first time. Nick Knowles swings and misses 0-1. Came in place of Fies defensively in the 6th. 1 out here in the 7th. 8-5 Vikings. Here's the 0-1. This bounces in there and the count 1-1. How about this one on this date in 2013? It was, I'll never forget this one. It was a sellout crowd. It was Whiting Chamber of Commerce night at Oil City Stadium, similar to the 46394 night we had last week on Thursday with a very good audience. This one was a complete sellout. There's a check swing and appeal. Yes, he went around, says Mike Clay, the first base umpire. Count 1 and 2 on Knowles. It was one of the, maybe the biggest crowd I've ever seen. Certainly top 10, top 5 maybe. The military all-star games are definitely in front of it, but as far as a regular season game, maybe right at the top. This is high for a ball, 2 and 2, a sellout at Oil City Stadium. And unfortunately, the bad part of the evening is that there was a lot of rain that came through right before game time, a surprise shower. Here's a bouncing ball to the right side. This is rolling along first, and fielding it and stepping on the bag is Z-Big, 3 unassisted on the putout, 2 down now here in the 7th.
That was one where it just fortunately came right to Z-Big there. It stayed fair, and he was able to just scoop it up, step on the bag. Didn't have to travel too far for that one.
I think Z-Big was just waiting to see how far it would travel. If he knew it wasn't going to be deep enough for where he had to come up and get that ball, he's probably going to see if he could let that ball roll foul, because that's what the trajectory it was going into. But instead, that ball came off the bat quick enough where we had to make a quick decision on whether he should take that ball or not. He did and made the right decision. He got the out there at first.
Blaze Cano takes ball 1. 2 outs and the bases clear. 8-5 Vikings in the 7th. Here's Pricing's pitch. This is swung on and lifted foul in the count 1-1. But we had a rain delay of 2 hours and 20 minutes that night to wait it out before the ball game finally got underway. A 9:30 first pitch on a late night of baseball at Oil City Stadium. It was the Oilmen against the Lexington Snipes. This is high for a ball. They had a long trip back after the game as well to the Bloomington Normal area, Lexington, Illinois. 2 balls and 1 strike. But it was all worth it for the visiting team as they won by a 9-2 score. Here's a line drive to short. It's caught on a line by Marshall. And the Oilmen, or I should say the Vikings, go 1-2-3 in the 7th. We've played 7. It remains Southland 8, Oilmen 5 on the Northwest Indiana Oilmen Broadcasting Network.
Hire certified electrician contractors, you're getting the best. But just as important as our skill and expertise is our culture of safety. We know it's important to you, and we know it's important to them. Certified Electrician represents the NECA IBEW team, a team where safety and productivity go hand in hand. It's why our jobs finish on time and on budget. It's why owners that use us are repeat customers. Certified Electrician, working together, powering Northwest Indiana.
Wait! Let me hear Lando Frost. Premium meat. Delicious. And no byproducts.
Toss it in.
Et moi?
Okay.
Whee!
Make the smart choice. Land of Frost Premium Meat.
Yes!
When it comes to Sunday, choose the right couch. Here's to the original light beer. It's Miller time.
It's a new battery for the Southland Vikings here at Oil City Stadium. Jack West takes over to do the pitching for Southland, and behind the plate, Crowell will come in. It's Crowell replacing Kroll behind the dish for Rocco Masudo and the Southland Vikings. Castillo goes the 1 inning. He allows 1 hit. It's a shutout frame. He walked none and struck out 1, and he gives way to West to work this 8th inning with the Vikings leading the Oilmen by an 8-5 score.
Yeah, for Jack West, he's coming off probably one of his stronger performances. His first couple of outings, he was really dealing with some consistency issues, including a blown save against the Chicago American Giants back on June 30. Worked Friday night, 1 inning of work, no hits, no strikeouts, 2 walks were the only issue, but he didn't allow a run. So positive start for him and a positive way to bounce back after a couple of rough outings. Let's see now. He gets a tough task here with the 6, 7, 8 hitters of the Oilmen who are just trying to fight and claw their way back in this contest tonight.
Yeah, 8th inning coming up. The Oilmen running out of outs here with 6 outs left to work with. They trail it by an 8-5 score. The line score looks like this. The Vikings 8 runs, 8 hits, and 2 errors. The Oilmen 5 runs, 7 hits, and 5 errors today, Leo.
And those errors have really come in spots that put the Oilmen playing from behind there, where they came with no outs in innings or came in spots where you could have gotten out of innings. So that extended some innings and forced the Oilmen to be pitching with runners on base with no outs, and just those allowed for those well-placed hits from some of the Viking hitters in the corners to have base runners to come around and just make those innings even longer for the Oilmen.
To finish up on this date, again, 2013, memorable night. The Oilmen lose the game, but great crowd, fun atmosphere, and a long rain delay. I remember waiting that one out. The longest rain delay we've ever had, I believe. It was